Lena loved adventures. One day, she discovered a dense forest at the edge of her village, one she had never seen before. The trees were enormous, their branches forming a leafy canopy that let only a few rays of sunlight through. But something felt different. From afar, Lena heard a soft whisper, even though no one was in sight. That sounds like talking animals? She murmured curiously, taking a step into the forest. Suddenly, the bushes rustled, and a tiny, cheeky mouse jumped at her feet. "You're brave to come here," said the mouse in a squeaky voice. Lena rubbed her eyes in disbelief. You can talk?" The mouse nodded and grinned broadly. "Of course, in this forest, all animals can talk, but be careful. The crazy wizard has cursed us, and we need your help." Lena's eyes sparkled with excitement. "A wizard? That sounds like an adventure." Without hesitation, she followed the mouse deeper into the mysterious forest. Lena ran after the mouse, who nimbly jumped over roots and stones. Suddenly, the mouse stopped and whispered, "Shh! Listen!" From a small pond came a strange melody. A frog sat on a lily pad, singing in a deep, croaky voice. "Ribbit, ribbit, I don't want to sing, ribbit, ribbit, but I must swing." Lena couldn't help but giggle. A singing frog? What's next? But the frog didn't look happy at all. "That crazy wizard," he groaned. "I used to catch flies in peace, and now I sing all day long." Lena smiled. "Maybe I can help, but how do I find the wizard?" The frog jumped excitedly. "He lives in a house made of candy and lollipops, deep in the forest. But be careful, he's a bit odd." Lena nodded firmly. "Let's go then." Alongside the mouse and the singing frog, she set off on her adventure. After a while, they reached a clearing where a strange house stood. It was made of colorful candy, and the window frames were made of licorice. Lena could hardly believe her eyes. "Who lives here?" she asked, sniffing the sweet walls. "The crazy wizard, of course," squeaked the mouse. Suddenly, the door opened, and an eccentric old man with a giant hat stepped out. "Who dares knock on my sugary house?" he said, eyes gleaming with curiosity. Lena stepped forward bravely. "My name is Lena, and I want to know why you cursed the animals." The wizard scratched his chin. "Oh, it was just for fun. I was bored and thought a singing frog would be amusing." Lena crossed her arms. "But they're unhappy. You need to break the spell." The wizard laughed. "All right, but only if you can solve my riddles." Lena nodded. "Let's hear them." The wizard waved his wand, and suddenly 3 cherries jumped out of a bowl and onto the floor. They began to dance and sang in unison. "Which of us is not real and made of wood?" Lena blinked, confused. "A wooden cherry? That's impossible." She stepped closer and examined them carefully. 2 were juicy and sparkled in the sunlight, but the third looked dull and moved stiffly. "That one!" Lena shouted, pointing at the wooden cherry. The wizard clapped his hands. "Very good. You solved the first riddle, but 2 more remain." Lena smiled confidently. "Bring them on." The wizard led Lena inside his candy house. In one of the rooms, a large mirror hung on the wall. It began to speak. "I see everything but have no eyes. I reflect, but I do not think. What am I?" Lena thought hard. Something that sees everything but has no eyes? She looked at her own reflection, and suddenly the answer hit her. "A mirror," she cried. The mirror smiled and fell silent. The wizard nodded in approval. "Very good, you're clever. But the last riddle is the hardest of all." "This is your final riddle," said the wizard, lifting his wand. Above Lena's head, words floated in the air. "I can connect or divide. I can lie or tell the truth. What am I?" Lena thought deeply. Words could build friendships or cause fights. They could tell stories or keep secrets. "Words," she finally shouted. The wizard looked surprised and then burst into laughter. "You actually did it. You are truly smart." With a wave of his wand, he whispered a spell, and a rainbow of light enveloped the forest. The whispering stopped, and the animals regained their normal voices. The frog stopped singing and croaked happily. "Thank you, Lena. You saved us." Lena said goodbye to the mouse and the frog and stepped out of the forest. The wizard waved after her and shouted, "Come visit me again. I might have new riddles for you." Lena laughed and waved back. On her way home, she thought about all the wild adventures she had just experienced. Who would have thought that a singing frog and a wacky wizard would make her day so exciting? She decided to keep the forest's secret to herself. After all, who would believe she had spoken to a talking mouse and a musical frog? But one thing was certain, she would never forget this adventure. And maybe, just maybe, she would return to that mysterious forest someday.